UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back on this beautiful Monday night/evening, where we are currently following the updates from the game between Manchester United and FC Bournemouth. Man United already leading the game by a goal to nil, thanks to a goal scored by Amadou Diallo, with Diego Dalot providing the assist in there for the Red Devils to take a 1-0 lead. Manchester United have sort of had, I wouldn't have had a very, very brilliant start to the game. They've been at the top of affairs, largely, trying to pin FC Bournemouth deep inside their own half. And they've had as many as 8 attempts on goal, in as far as the opening quarter and hour has gone already. They've looked really, really sharp. There's a very brilliant block from Michael Senesi. There's an opportunity in the 18th minute that Matthias Cunha sort of, places wide of the mark from just slightly outside the 18 yards box and things like that. So they've looked really, really sharp. So we'll be following the updates from that front as well for tonight's conversation. For those of you that will be joining us for this particular broadcast. Anyways, allow me have our audios tested just to make sure everything, checks out really, really well for tonight. Then I'll be also letting you know how the teams have set up. No Joshua Zirkzee, as much as we would have preferred him to start this game. It's Matthias Cunha leading the Lions. That sacrifice means that they get to accommodate Mason Mount in the starting 11. And yeah, it's been a brilliant start. Like I said, for Manchester United, there's not going to be a better day or a better opportunity to beat up against FC Bournemouth than the opportunity that presents, than the opportunity that presents itself today. Really, if we are being honest. Reason for that is largely because AFC Bournemouth have really, really been in poor form in as far as this season is concerned. So, for those of you that are just joining us, thank you so much for joining us. Robert Kesakos is my name, and I'm coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda. That's in the eastern part of Africa. Do let me know where you're joining us from. Kindly like the podcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new here. It's a sports channel. It's a football channel. We get to talk about all things football from some of your favorite leagues across Europe. So yeah, basically that's it. And like I said, Man United are leading that game by a goal to nil. That goal scored by Amadou Diallo, with Diego Dalot providing the assist. Anyways, what do I say? Okay, almost forgot. Was trying to have our audios tested and then somehow deviated from the gist of from that. Really, Jesus Christ, mosquitoes. Hi, Shulk. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, but hi, how are you? Where are you joining us from? And how is your evening? Really? That's interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. Oh, from Northern India. Oh, Northern India. How is India? Not that I would know where particularly Northern India is, but I do have a fine appreciation for the Indian community because they've been very, very supportive on this channel, even though a majority of them are cricket fans and things like that. They've been really, really very supportive on our journey. Oh, beautiful block, beautiful block. Northern, but far east near China. Oh, okay. Do you like interact with the Chinese community within that region, in the sort of inter-border kind of interaction? Is that how it is? Do you share certain things, maybe culture, maybe some foods with Chinese being in proximity? You know, um, Moe, Moe, hi Moe, Moe, is it Moe with us? Hi, how are you? Oh, Manchester United have been surprisingly really, really impressive in this game so far. Moe says, good, how about you? I'm all right, thanks for asking. I'm coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda, small landlocked country in the eastern part of Africa called Uganda. We do have a fair share of, an Indian community within the country. So, um, thank you, Team India, for joining us. Shakur says we have nothing in common with the rest of India. Our culture and facial experience and language is similar to those of Thailand, Cambodia, or Myanmar. Oh, speaking of Myanmar, was it yesterday or today morning, we had somebody on the channel called Never Myanmar was joining us from Myanmar, and I was telling them the only thing I know about Myanmar was the political unrest that sort of defined their country a couple of months ago. I do not know if that's still the case, but that's all I knew about them. But yeah, when you say closer to Thailand, Cambodia, I completely understand that sort of Asian bit of community in that sort of aspect. The only things I think I would relate or know about Thailand, and maybe yeah, Thailand would be videos that I've watched about street food experiences and things like that in that regard. Oh, Brian Mbeumo trying to place the ball beyond the reach of George Petrovic. But he knows he could have done better. He could have placed that a little wider, perhaps beyond the reach of the goalkeeper. Now, guys, observe how Bournemouth is playing against Manchester United. It's a little kind of similar the way Wolves went about their game against Man United, and Man United ended up beating them by 4 goals to 1. And in sharp contrast, look at how wait and see how they will set up against Arsenal, and you see the difference. Like I said, it was lazy arguments or common football talk of lay fans to say, how come Arsenal can't even score against Wolves, and yet Manchester United just beat them by 4 goals to 1? If you make the argument that simplistic, you're going to miss the whole point. That's like roadside football chat and stuff. But you must be able to look beyond that. And anyway, that's what brings us to this channel, so that we can explain things much better to you, more in depth, and help you understand why certain things are the way they are. Yeah, in that sense. Really, how was that a foul on Bruno Fernandes? As a fair challenge. That was a fair challenge. The referee, Simon Hooper, I don't know what he was thinking there. Oh, I promised to tell you how teams have set up. I almost forgot about that. Man United do have Arsene Lomans in goal. They have Luke Shaw, Lenioro, and Aiden Heaven in their back three. Diego Dalot, Amadou Diallo as the have wing backs, and then Bruno Fernandes alongside Casemiro. Then Brandon Bomo, Mason Mount, and Matthias Cunha on the other side. Then for AFC Bournemouth, the way they've set up this evening, of course, they do have George Petrovic in goal. They do have Marco Senesi and Bafode Diakite in that centre back pairing. They do have Adrian Trafford at left back and Adam Smith. Tyler Adams had to be forced off through injury in as early as the 50th minute for Alex Scott. Oh, wow. Marcus Tavernier trying to get Bournemouth a level. Ball is floated in by Justin Kluivert, and Marcus Tavernier out of nowhere gets his head to it. Seneloman serves, but he couldn't follow through on the rebound properly. So Marcus Tavernier alongside Alex Scott are in midfield, who replaced Tyler Adams, Anton Semenyo, Justin Kluivert, Alejandro Gimenez, and Evan Nilsson. Now, I don't know, but Evan Nilsson, I mean, he's too inconsistent a player, and unfortunately for Bournemouth, their best player so far this season, who had been early on in the season, who had been Anton Semenyo, has not had things go his way. In as far as this season is concerned, in as far as this season is concerned, for the last many games, he's been a shadow of the guy that started the the season really. The advantage for them is that Ghana are not at this year's edition of the Africa Cup of Nations, so he won't be going away, to represent his country for the Africa Cup of Nations that is going to be played in Morocco. Kicking off on the 21st of December. Speaking of which, that's tomorrow, but one that will be on Wednesday. Uganda Cranes will be playing up against Gabon in a friendly match there in their final preparation game for the Africa Cup of Nations. They're in Group C with Tanzania, Tunisia and Nigeria in that group. Bournemouth have started to get a bit of a footing in this game. However, I do worry or feel for them with how they are overly committing almost all 10 players, in the Manchester United half. That may leave you exposed to a quick counterattack. And we know that Manchester United are traditionally that counterattacking, kind of team. Evan Nilsson, another Brazilian playing in the Premier League. Good number of those. Bruno Guimaraes, Jolinton, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes, all those are Brazilians are playing in the Premier League. Andon Iraola needs to find a way to inspire his team to earn a point here or all 3 points. It's far from done. We are into the 33rd minute of the game, and it's still 1-0 to Manchester United. So really, he ought to find a way to inspire his team to pick up a point, because results have not really been going their way. They've had 2 draws in the last 5 and lost 3. So they need to fight for second balls much better. They need to defend better. when the best of balls floated in. Semenyo can't get the ball out of the in between of his legs. Man United on the break. Uh-oh. What a block that was. What a block that was by Adam Smith. Meanwhile, in the Spanish La Liga, there's also a game ongoing that's between Real Betis away to Rayo Vallecano, AC Roma, and Como. That game is also ongoing as we speak. It's still goalless between the two sides. It's a game that, in fact, I did want to catch up on, but for some reason, it had eluded my mind. I wanted to watch Nico Paz and see how he does fare in today's proceedings. One of those very, very exciting players in as far as European football is concerned. One of the hotcakes that has been linked with the potential move to the likes of Chelsea and others. Nico Paz, Kenan Yildiz at Juventus. Yeah, there's some of the hot cakes of talent that are at the European scene at the moment. AS Roma have Ivan Ferguson, who is on loan from Brighton and Hove Albion in the Premier League. Oh, he got the better of his defender for a moment. Come on. Running Bomo connecting well with Matthias Cunha, but couldn't convert from close range. His ball is placed over the bar. But I mean, that's a sumptuous ball. That's a sumptuous ball. Wow. Well floated in cross. It's a bit of a sliding moment for him as he gets his left leg to it. Perhaps he doesn't get the cleanest of touches to it, but yeah, that was close. That was close. He's by the Manchester United is a top scorer this season, Brandon Bomo, with as many as 6 goals. There's a whole set of players with 6 goals, including Anton Semenyo. You know, then of course, Brad Erling Haaland is the top scorer with I think 17 goals after 16 games played. Igor Thiago from Brentford comes there with 11 goals. You have a couple of players with 7 goals, including Liverpool's Hugo Ekitike. So yeah. Wow. Oh, what a ball. Evan Nilsson, what a through ball for Justin Kluivert. Oh, oh. What kind of clearance is that from Semenyo? Was very poor. Bournemouth are struggling to quickly get out of their own half because of Manchester United's quick high press. And you have Manchester United's back three with Luke Shaw and Lenior often venturing higher up the pitch to help with the press there. Shania Nabwami, hi Shania and Nabwami, good to have you on the broadcast. Where are you joining us from? On this beautiful Monday evening / night, 40 minutes past the hour, 11 p.m. here in Kampala, Uganda. The name sounds more Ugandan than not for Shania there. Wow. Okay. You're not missing out on much. It's still 1-0 to United. And it's a goal. 1-1. Anton Semenyo. At long last, he gets his 7th goal of the season. What a goal. When we were doing the preview for this game this morning, I thought that if there was anything you could guarantee was that Manchester United would concede a goal in this game. And they've just done so, thanks to Anton Semenyo there. Mason Mount, Luke Shaw is the one that concedes possession. And Semenyo just has that, run into the area, goes low, beats Senelomans to the bottom corner, and it's 1-1. And it's 1-1. And that's his third goal in a row against Manchester United. Anton Semenyo. Beautiful, beautiful run there to get to the score line to restore parity for AFC Bournemouth in this game. Mercy Odruasi. Hi, Mercy. Good to have you on the channel. Mercy Odruasi. Hi, Mercy. Why are you joining us from this beautiful evening? Juventus won on the weekend, beating up against Bologna by 4-0. Napoli lost to Udinese, and Milan shared the spoils with Sassuolo. Roma need to win today to possibly move to the summits? No, they cannot. They cannot. They can only move to 29 points. Inter Milan are still leading the affairs. Inter Milan lead the affairs in the Italian Serie A with 33 points after 15 games played. AC Milan with 32 points. Napoli with 31 points. They lost in the weekend by 0-0 against Udinese. So that's the top three, with Juventus coming fifth with 26 points, and Roma still goalless against Como puts them at 27 points. If they can win, then they can move to 29 points. What is Semenyo thinking? You can't be comforting somebody like that. That's something that can get you sent off. I mean, we saw in that Manchester United a loss to against Everton by goal to nil when Idris Ganagwe got himself sent off with with a confrontation against his own teammates in Idris Ganagwe, and Idris Ganagwe got sent off for confrontation with his teammate Michael Keane. And I mean, I thought it was odd that the referee decided to issue a red card for an altercation between two players of the same team. But it is what it is. So Anton Semenyo should know better. Oh, ball did not fall in place for Evan Nelson. Bournemouth have gained some bit of momentum. Have gained a bit of momentum ever since the half-hour mark of this game. We are, getting closer to halftime in this game. We're into the stoppage minutes of the opening stanza, and I think Man United may be the happier side to go for the game to be brought to a halt, and the referee sends them into halftime when it is 1-1. Otherwise, Bournemouth have dominated their affairs for the last quarter an hour. 5 minutes were added for this first half. Let's see if Bournemouth can have a say on that. Matthias Cunha, busy doing what Brazilian players often do, make certain things look simple. Manchester United is Nusa Mazorui, Brandon Mbeumo, and Amadou Diallo will be leaving for the Africa Cup of Nations. So Manchester United will not be with some of those players. Their own loan player, that's Andre Onana, away to Trabzonspor in Turkey, was not summoned to the Cameroonian national team, where they're having wars between the FA president, that's Samuel Eto'o, and the ministry appointed head coach for the national team, who he sacked, and he refused to leave the job because he's not the one who appointed him. I mean, it's a bit shambolic what we are hearing is coming out of Cameroon. Come on. Bruno Fernandes, always seeking to exaggerate the slightest of contact against him. Uh-oh. Oh, it's 2-1. Manchester United have gotten the lead heading into halftime. I think that's their 11th goal of the season, being scored being scored from a set piece. That's just poor defending, and that's just poor goalkeeping from George Petrovic. I mean, nobody is tracking at the back post amongst those Bournemouth players, and Casemiro gets, an uncontested header to the ball. He heads it into the floor, and somehow, in the face of George Petrovic, it beats him. Bruno Fernandes floating in that corner, very, very high in the air. I mean, the goalkeeper was right there. He was right there. Wow. They made a mess of that one. It's halftime, and Manchester United are leading by 2 goals to 1. Our goals from Amadou Diallo and Casemiro have given Manchester United a 2-1 lead at halftime, with Anton Semenyo scoring what is now a mere consolation, but it had been the equalizer when it was still 1-0 at the time. George Petrovic will only have himself to blame for conceding from that. I mean, he was right there at the near post where Casemiro hits the ball and he couldn't keep it out. So it hit the back of the net. It's just that simple. Meanwhile, the game between Como and AS Roma has returned for the second half there. That game is currently ongoing in the Italian Serie A. Remember, Como are under the charges of former Arsenal captain Francesco Sola Fabregas there. So yeah, very, very encouraging performance from Manchester United in the opening stanza. They had a lot going for them. They just weren't as clinical as you would have loved to see them. They had as many as, I think, 4 shots on target, or attempts on target, 4 off targets. Bournemouth had 3 on target and 4 off targets. They had an overall ball possession of 52%. Man United had as many as 9 blocked shots. So then that really tells you the fair share of dominance that Man United enjoyed in the overall first half. But they were very dominant in the first 30 minutes of the game. Then they lost that dominancy for about quarter an hour there for until the 45th minute mark, and then somehow United get back into it and they take a 2-1 lead into halftime. So, like I said, Andoni Iraola will have to figure out how to motivate his boys to pick him at least a point out of this game, because it is possible. Because defensively, Manchester United are not the best of teams. You can't get at them. You can't score goals against them. We're talking about a team that has only kept one clean sheet this season. So, I mean, they do not often concede more than one, to be fair, in games that they've won. But you can't score against them. We've seen that often. I mean, I'm following updates from the game between AC Roma and Como, and there's not much to separate the two sides at the moment. It's a bit of a 50-50 game. AC Roma have dominated the opening fourth, coming on to 5 minutes of the second half. They hit the base of the upright with the header. And then the rebound went in from Cristante, but I think the goal was ruled out due to an offside in the earlier moment or phase of a build-up, really. So that's what it is. Mowetz, Shakul, Shania, Nawami, and Mercy, thank you so much for being part of this broadcast. Thank you so much for the time you've given to be part of this broadcast. Stunning to be really, really hot. Starting to be really, really hot. It's been fairly hot there, really. So, who would I say was my standout performer going into halftime? To be honest, not many Man United players have placed their feet wrong. I mean, the goal was out of a moment of a lapse in concentration. Luke Shaw concedes possession right, in the upper side of, that left wing, and then, Antonio Semenyo goes for it and he scores. But Sidney Lomans has not had too much to do. He saved that header from, was it Alex Scott earlier on? Then I think Matthias Cunha has looked really sharp. Casemiro has looked really, really good. Amadou Diallo has looked sharp. Lenioro, Heidenheven, they've looked okay. Diego Dalot, very enthusiastic. Brian Mbomo, Mason Mount, they really, really looked okay in that opening first half. What they do need is, to keep that spirit up, possibly take all 3 points. And if, let's say, if Manchester United were to win here tonight, that victory would send them would move them from would move them to up to 5th place on the Premier League table with 28 points. If that were to be the final result at the end of tonight, really, Bournemouth will stay, as low as 15th on the Premier League table with 15 points after 16 games played. Remember, Arsenal are still leading the pile with 2 points ahead of Manchester City and 3 ahead of Aston Villa, who occupy 2nd and 3rd places respectively. Chelsea and 4th with 28 points. Remember, Crystal Palace got beat over the weekend by 3-0 at the hands of Manchester City, while Liverpool were winning by 2-0 against Brighton. Everton lost to Chelsea. Sunderland won against Newcastle by 0-0. I mean, Tottenham Hotspurs could have been beaten as many as 7, but just lucky that they only conceded 3 against Nottingham Forest, but they were really, really poor. They were really, really, really poor yesterday. Really, really poor. And they will be disappointed with that kind of performance that they gave. I mean, you could see I think the fury within Tottenham, within a section of some Tottenham fans, if you do follow the engagement online from there. It was actually Mark Castavania with that header that tested Arsene Lomans, only that he did not expect that kind of rebound, so he could not bring it under his control. Oh, oh, wow. Como were close to scoring to make it 1-0. Nico Paz with an attempt that goes wide of the mark. And then, I mean, it's just beautiful football to watch there. Let's see if we can get some reaction from X, perhaps, from about Manchester United, about that game between Manchester United and AFC Bournemouth. I could retire a bit early. I don't know. It feels like it's been a very, very long day. And that it has been. That it has been. Okay, okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some reaction about Manchester United this evening, in as far as that game is concerned. I paused for a moment because I read the funny tweet. So don't mind me, don't mind me. But yeah, Manchester United fans seem to think that should have been a red card for Anton Semenyo. To be honest, he was lucky to get away with it. Like I said, on another day, another referee could have made a different decision. Again, not too tough, not too rough. Then they seem to think that that ball that goes off Marco Senesi's hand should have been a penalty. I did not think so. I think the ball swaps off his head before it hits his arm, and so it shouldn't be a penalty. Somebody said Manchester United are marking like crazy. Yeah, their press was really, really good. They denied Bournemouth for a good part of the first half spaces, and they made it difficult for them to build from out of the back. Like I said, Lenny Yoro and Luke Shaw were on different occasions pushing high into midfield to help with that counter press, and they did that successfully. Manchester United, Mason Mount is a very essential player when he starts for Man United. They have a 71.4% win rate with him in the team as compared to 25% win rate without him in the team. So then, okay, yes, it's a bit soft, but that's 100% a red card if a Manchester United player does that. Fact, that's Paul Manka, Bold and Breed there on X. Let me see. Okay, we've read that one. Yeah, but okay. A lot of Man United fans think they should have had a penalty in that first half. A good number of them think Anton Semenyo should have been sent off. With the red card. So Casemiro becomes the first Brazilian player to score 10 Premier League goals for Manchester United. That's according from Echo Stats. I told you Manchester United have now scored 11 goals from set pieces. I think possibly more than any other team in the league, and yet you have teams being dubbed Sepis FC. This is the Rio Hamer says Bournemouth, though the scoreline isn't a reflection of the game where Manchester United dominated and created a lot of chances, but not prolific enough to bury them. That's true. Brian Mbumo missed chances, Matas Cunha missed chances, you know. Mancini busy talking himself into a yellow card in that game between Como and AC Roma. So, yeah, indeed, Manchester United were not as clinical. If they had been as clinical as you'd love to see them on any given day, not that we've seen that in recent times, but they could have been easily 3-4 nil up before even conceding that equalizer that they did concede in the game. The first half, the first 30 minutes gave vibes over the old or traditional Manchester United kind of team, very counter-attacking, uh, looking to get to the byline, do the cutbacks and, the crosses and things like that. It was typical of that. Manchester United need to take their chances and blow Bournemouth off at the park. Taking the foot off the gas allowed Bournemouth back into the game, which ultimately led to the equalizer. That is according to Dr. Awesome. Leaky Fan on X. That's their handle. Okay, that's not in English. Manchester United regained. Okay, no, that's not the comment I wanted to read. What a roller coaster first half at the Theatre of Dreams. Amadou Diallo with a clinical finish early on. Semenyo pools were back. Anyway, I thought it was an assessment, but as 17 shots, pure intensity. This team's fight. More of that in the second half. I mean, for the, I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but Manchester United were being cheered on at halftime, and that's the kind of environment that Old Trafford can create for you on any given day. We remember, at the end of that win against Wolves, they had those similar scenes, Jesus Christ. Oh, it's a goal. Roma have the lead against Como. Really? Jesus Christ. Yep, it's been a beautiful run. Ball is crossed. Oh, ball is crossed into the area. Somebody has a brush of the head onto it, and from the back post. I mean, again, goes through the legs of a common player before beating their goalkeeper. You know. Wow. 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 Meanwhile, it's 2-2. Evan Nilsson scoring in almost the first minute, in the second minute of the resumption of the Manchester United game. And it's 2-2. I mean, That's quite a blow for Manchester United. They will be disappointed in themselves. And if you give Bournemouth the space, they can hurt you. They have some good players. The more they stay in the game, the more confidence they gain, you know. And Man United, last I checked, had not beaten up against Bournemouth in the last, I think, 4 games. Meanwhile, for those of you that have watched our, full analysis view, uh, following Arsenal's 2-1 victory against Wolves from the weekend. That video did premiere earlier on today morning at 10:30 p.m. Sorry, at 10:30 a.m. For those of you that have watched it, thank you so much. Um, Casemiro gets himself in the referee's book. That means he's accumulated 5 yellow cards and will be out of the next game against Aston Villa, because Manchester United take on Aston Villa next in as far as the Premier League outing is concerned. That means either Kobe Mainu or Manuel Ugarte will be the ones in midfield, and then Brian Mbeumo, Amadou Diallo will be away already for AFCON. So Man United may be a little bit lightweight as opposed to what you're accustomed to against a very, very on-form Aston Villa side. And it's a goal. It's 3-2. Marcus Tavernier from the penalty spot. I mean, he goes low, he goes hard, beats Sene Lomans, almost catches him by surprise. And for the third consecutive time of asking at Old Trafford, Bournemouth have scored 3 goals. And it went from a very brilliant first half for Manchester United overall to a very shambolic opening 5-7 minutes of the second half. You know, because it thinks the world has it covered. Marcus Tavernier, wow. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And it goes on with a golf playing kind of celebration you'd have Gareth Bale do. Looks like we are about to experience a gas galore on here tonight. We could be in for a gas galore on this evening because if Manchester United restore parity, that will be 6 goals already in this game. Meanwhile, our prediction on the channel was a 2-1 victory uh, for 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 Manchester United, and now it's 3-2. And Bournemouth are being very, very athletic. They're chasing down those 50-50s. They're not allowing Manchester United a lot of breathing room. Everything United did right in the first half is the reverse of what is exactly what Bournemouth are doing in the second half. Is Cunha was he trying to put in a block or to try to duck the ball? Looks like it's going to be a long night for Manchester United, but there's nothing to say it won't be a long one for Bournemouth. Simon Cooper had blown his whistle, and then Cunha puts that ball away, and it doesn't get a booking. Suspicious. Anyway, it's not intended to delay a restart. It was their ball anyway, and he was just pulling back the free kick. So maybe he's right to excuse it. At this moment, if Ruben Amorim wasn't too stubborn a manager, you'd pick something. Pull off a player, switch to a back four, go for a 3-3, and, take it from there. Harry Maguire out in the stands with Tom Hutton. I mean, when you're a third choice goalkeeper at a team, how do you stay motivated to keep working and training every day, to keep showing up, hoping that maybe on a random day in the season, you'll get a sniff. I mean, it must be difficult to be a third choice goalkeeper at a team. Must really, really be difficult for players like Tommy Setford, for players like Tom Heaton. I mean, especially at a team like Manchester United, who this season do not have European football and they're already out of the EFL Cup. I mean, the FA Cup is around the corner, but then that's the kind of game that you'd give to a second choice goalkeeper. So, all right, all right, all right, all right. We are at the 1 hour mark and it's still 3-2 in favor of the visitors. I look at this Manchester United team and I look at players who have a lot of potential in them, but are not fulfilling it. Amadou Diallo is one of those players, great, great potential in his legs. Beautiful phase of play from Manchester United, but couldn't wrap it with a very good end product. Kobe Maino coming on for Casemiro. Mm, wow. Okay. It almost feels like Ruben Amorim is being criticized into playing Kobe Maino in a way. Andoni Iraola used that moment to dish out some new, fresh instructions of his own to his players there. Meanwhile, the goalkeeper, George Petrovic of FC Bournemouth, is also undergoing treatment for what feels like a niggle in his knee. 38 seconds it took for Bournemouth to restore parity in that second half. I mean, I can't wait to watch the meltdown from Mark Colbridge as those goals went in. I can't wait to watch the meltdown. Oh, put the ball in front. What's the point of going behind? Jesus Christ. Giampiero Gasperini trying to get the best out of that match, that AC Roma team. Last weekend, Como lost to Inter by 4 goals to nil. And Cesc Fabregas said he would rather lose that way than lose 1-0. You know, he's one of the very young, exciting managers in European football at the moment. Brandon Buemo struggling to get the perfect hits on goal, but he's one of those that has had a couple of chances in this game. Bournemouth need to get out of this next phase up to the 75th mark unscathed or possibly with another goal if they want to take all 3 points. Aiden Heaven, one of those, very, very good young center backs. But for me, good as he is, he shouldn't be starting for a team like Manchester United. He should be a squad player, learning off of senior players. Brandon Mbeumo looking for a space to shoot, but couldn't find it. When you're trying to force his way through a chunk of bodies in that Bournemouth backline. Oh, George Petrovic. Oh. Looks like it was going was looked like it was going on into the inside at the near post. George Petrovic not having the best of days in office, even though his side are ahead. Hi, Pedri. Good to have you on the broadcast. Pedri says he loves my black Calvin Klein shirt, even though he calls it a dress. It's a t-shirt, mate. But thank you for being part of the broadcast again. We are following the updates from that game between Man United and Bournemouth. I don't know what you've made of the game if you have been following the updates. And again, here's the issue for me with Ruben Amorim. You're looking for a goal, not just to equalize the game, but to possibly win it. And after making a midfield change, rightly so, by the way, the other's next instinct is to bring on a defender. I mean, why? Why? Why does always he think that when you need to change the game, switching a defender is the thing to go? I mean, credit to him is also brought on Benjamin Sesko for Mason Mount, and that means Cunha pulls to the 10 to play alongside Mbeumo as the two number 10s, and Sesko leads the line. I hope they can float in the crosses that he needs for a player of his height to try and run to. But that change in the back line, I never understand it. I never really understand it, especially when they're chasing a game down. You know, I never understand that change. Now, we know, I know that playing with the back three is a bit hectic. It sort of takes a toll on those three, defenders. But if you're not scoring enough goals the other side, then they should, and yet you're conceding, then they shouldn't be giving you justification for um, for swapping them out. There was a handball in the area of, I think, Mbeumo's attempt, and there's an appeal for a handball. But I mean, you can't give that. You can't give that. You can't give that. Brandon Mbeumo with another opportunity that he blazes wide of the mark. Handball, penalty, no penalty. You can't give that. Yeah, why is he bringing on Martinez? Your guess is as good as mine. I do not think that Leniero was the worst of the back three, by the way. Um, and I don't know if it's about managing his game time or trying to ease back Martinez in. But when you're searching for a goal, now is not the time to make that kind of change. That's the kind of change you would make possibly in the 85th minute when you're trying to see out a game that you see is not going in your favor, to see out maybe a 3-all draw, or you're protecting a 4-3 lead. I would understand that. I would understand that. But here he is making a defensive change. When you have Joshua Zaxi on the bench, and yet my view was pull out one of the wing backs, possibly Amadou Diallo at this stage because he's not had a good game in the second half, and then throw on Joshua Zaxi. Let go into a back four, and then you play with a 4-3-3. I mean, sometimes I just don't get it. Or offside trap like us, he should play 4-3-3 now, or offside trap like us. I mean, yes, he. That's what I keep thinking. That now I'm not saying he should be looking to change his system entirely, but you go with the demands of the game. You adjust with the demands of the game. And in this particular one, you're looking for a goal. You're looking for a goal, and bringing on a defender does not communicate that that's what you're really looking for. I mean, Luxor had to recover quickly to deny Anton Semenyo from close range a header of Adam Smith's cross, which did appear like the ball had, veered off the turf, off the line. Let's see. Oh, on they go. Manchester United. Can they score from the counter here? Benjamin Sesko rest forward, and Diallo couldn't find him. He must shift the tactics according to the game. Play high line in the Bournemouth half, and press them basically offside trap. Become because you need a goal. Let them play on counter attacks. I should be a manager. Well, to be fair to Manchester United, they were doing all the right things in the first 30 minutes of this game, in the first half, and then the final 5 minutes of that half. That was the added time. In between there, they lost it for a quarter an hour, and they conceded an equalizer before Casemiro scored the header that made it a 2-1 going into halftime. And then they come for the second half and they concede two quick goals, one a free kick and the other from Evan Nilsson within within just 38 seconds of the second half. Bruno scored its 3-3, scored a free kick. It's yet to feature on my side. I don't know. Oh, was that not harsh? Yep, it's 3-3. I mean, he's capable of doing those kinds of things, Bruno Fernandes. Yes, my feed is slightly a couple of seconds behind, so do bear with me. But yeah, we know that Bruno Fernandes is capable of doing those things, you know. Sometimes it beats my understanding. So we have had two direct free kicks from in the same game. I do not remember the last time we saw that in terms of being two opposite teams scoring directly off, free kicks. He can't hit that ball, and oh my God! By the way, I predicted him scoring. I didn't know he scored. I didn't know he scored. I just threw it out there. Yeah, I mean, he has scored it, and it was a brilliant take. It was a brilliant take. George Petrovic, who has not had a good game, but you cannot you can't he could not do anything about that. The free kick in itself was very, very suspicious. I would not think on another given day that should have been a free kick, but I mean, so VAR doesn't have to intervene because it's not a penalty. So in other words, it's not clear. It's not deemed a clear and obvious error. I didn't know he had scored. I just threw it out there. Oh, so you are guessing? I mean, the ball was in a good area, sweet spot. more like a Bruno Fernandes kind of area. We know he hits those. He's done a couple of times. We saw it against Arsenal last season. You know, let's see, can they rise to the occasion and win 4-3 in this one? Um, we've seen last week, midweek, Aston Villa winning by 4 goals to 3 against Brighton and Hove Albion. Can Manchester United pull off the same? Oh, it's 4. It's a goal. Manchester United 4. Looks like Bournemouth have lost it at the wrong time. It's 4-3 to Manchester United. I mean, wow. That's how quickly a game of football can change. Matas Cunha with the goal. I mean, that was a brilliant run, and Benjamin Sesko tried to lay up the ball. It is blocked, sort of intercepted by a defender who cannot clear it well, and it falls into the lap of Matthias Cunha, and it's a brilliant call. It's a brilliant call. And Old Trafford goes wild because that's 2 quick goals, pretty much like Bournemouth had at the start of the second half. Like I said, we're destined for a goals galore, and it's raining goals. It's 4-3. That's 7 goals in a game. I just mentioned it, that can Man United inspire themselves to victory like Aston Villa did against Brighton last week in midweek by 4 goals to 3. And basically that's what's just happened. I mean, it's Cunha who wins the ball back. Brandon Bomo does not intentionally play it to Sesko, but he picks it up on it, and Bournemouth cannot defend well. And I mean, that's just unlucky for the defender to hit the floor at that moment. I do not think it's a different one. Monday Night Football. And by the way, that's for the second game in a row that Manchester United have scored 4 goals. So there is a positive to it as well. That means they're banging in the goals. I think they've had one of the best XG in the Premier League overall this season. And now they're putting the balls in the back of the net. That XG is starting to count for something. United looking for the 5th. But Adrian Trafford won't let them. Was that ball actually deflected? By the way, I do not agree with managers being given cards. I do not agree with it. Because them sort of shouting and protesting decisions on the touchline is the only window they have to try and defend and protect their teams while they are not on the actual turf, unless they use derogatory language. But other than that, protesting and contesting decisions, there's no such thing as being too argumentative. Bournemouth are starting to rush it a little bit. They're desperate. Oh, it's 4-4. It's 4-4. What 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 kind of game are we watching? It's 4-4. Bournemouth 4, Manchester United 4. Out of almost nowhere, it's it's level. Could we get the ninth goal in this game? Krupi is the goal scorer. He came off the bench to replace Evan Nilsson and he scored to make it 4-4. Jesus Christ. I mean, both sides will be happy that they are scoring the goals, but both sides will be displeased with themselves that they are conceding one too many. Wow. Sene Lomans should be doing better, but because he's off his lines, it's put beyond his reach. And it goes for a backflip. Yep, Pedri, it's 4-4. Yeah, what a game we are enjoying. 8 goals in one game. Last week, we saw a 5-4 victory for Manchester City against Fulham. Could we see something similar to that? I think by the way, stand to be corrected that, but possibly that could be the game that has had the highest number of goals in a Premier League game this season. That game between Fulham and Manchester City. Pedro is saying 5-4. Where are you getting your 5-4? I think Bruno Fernandes will get the winner 5-4. Okay, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But I mean, it would be a stinker if Bournemouth were to lose this game by that kind of scoreline. Oh, meanwhile, Manchester United have now scored more goals than Arsenal. So they've scored 30. That's 5 behind Manchester City, who are the leading scorers in this league with 35. So, in fact, with 38. With 38. So, Arsenal have also equally scored 30, by the way. Let's see. Let's see how it plays out in the final minutes of this game. Sir Alex Ferguson still in the stands, watching, cheering on a team that he managed for those many, many years, almost close on to 3 decades. Oh, there's an eagerness to get the ball back on the pitch. played wide up. The beautiful thing is that both teams are trying to go for that winner. Question is, who will get it? For now, it looks like Bournemouth want it more. There's nobody in that part of the pitch. Oh, Benjamin Sesko on the run. Dispossessed easily by Senesi. You have a kid, what would be his name? If I had a kid, what would be his name? I don't know. To be honest, to be fair and honest, I don't know. I remember when I was young, or fairly young, I used to think I would name my kid Renato Paul Ferreira just because I enjoyed listening to that name being pronounced on radio. He used to play for Chelsea back, 2004, 2005. Renato Paul Ferreira. It's a name I used to enjoy during listening to football commentary on radio. But present day, it wouldn't be Pedri. I do not know. Maybe it will be an A name. Andreas, not really. I don't think so. I mean, 8 minutes of Christensen. Why? Why Christensen? Let me see. Andre wouldn't be bad, but I'm not so sold on it. I would have gone for Adrian, but somebody is already called Adrian, at least in the family. Andre Onana, no. Nothing inspired by Andre Onana. Amadou Onana, not really. I mean, it would be a bit unique. Maybe Arnold, not Arnold, but Arnold. Maybe. Alexander Arnold. No, not Arnold. Arnold. Anolt. Arnold. I mean, Semenyo should go and play rugby. He has that long throw. Cunha escapes out of traffic. Beautiful ball across the pitch for Diallo. Bruno Fernandes puts it across the face of goal. Cats or dogs? Dogs any day. Those animals are very, very loyal. They never forget. Feed a dog for 3 days and it will remember you. It will greet you whenever it sees you. Dogs are dirty. If you keep them dirty, not dogs. You just not, maybe perhaps you just don't like them, but if you keep them clean, they can be clean and you can train them. Cats forever meow. You're a cats person. Well, I do respect that, but for me, it's dogs. Any day, it's dogs. Ooh. Serious? I don't know. I have a feeling we could see a very, very late goal in here. Have I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that feeling, but for football justice, it would be fair if it ends in a 4-all draw. For the sake of late drama, we could use a goal in this game. Is Joshua Zirkzee wearing shins? Is he wearing shin pads? His socks are so low. Is it no longer a must for players to wear shin guards? I know these shin guards are really small these days compared to what they were years ago. Man United fans seem to think Anton Semenyo is wasting time. Oh, Sonny Lomans with a beautiful save. Otherwise, it would have easily been 5 already. Oh, it did not fall for Semenyo. It did not fall for Semenyo, but it nearly did. Matas Cunha. Oh, Sonny Lomans with a leg save similar to that of what you'd see from David De Gea Quintana in years gone by for Manchester United. Jesus Christ. What does the mosquito want with me at this time? Meanwhile, Bournemouth are a man less. Adam Smith told to go off because he had blood in his mouth. Oh, change has been made. Referee wants us to get to 100 minutes. Really? Nah, come on. Call an end to this game. Call an end to this game. Andoni Raiola seems to think should call it quits here and they will walk away with the point. Otherwise, they risk losing it. He's seen enough. Oh. Uh-oh. Could be Mainu. Oh. Senel Lomans. Oh, at long last, it's game over. It's finished for Bournemouth, for Manchester United. If I really enjoyed this one, no, the rule says a minimum of. Oh, it's finished 4-4 between Manchester United and FC Bournemouth. Evan Nelson, Anton Semenyo, Mark Astavenia among the goal scorers for FC Bournemouth there with Kropi and then Cunha, Fernandez, Casemiro, and Diallo on the other side. So what that means on the Premier League standings is that Man United could not capitalize. They have stayed 8th with 25 points. So, and that is a valuable point for Bournemouth. Valuable. Oh, sorry. Man United go to 26 points. Is it? Yeah, they go to 26 points because they came in at 25. Bournemouth will be going to 21 points and they will be moving to 13th around there in as far as the Premier League table is concerned after that result. Jesus Christ. Oh. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure doing this with you tonight for our watch along for Monday Night Football. Thank you so much, Pedri. Thank you so much, every single one of you that has been part of tonight's podcast. Allow me to wish you a blessed night. And let's do this once again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Bye-bye for now. Stay blessed.